Washington Commanders fell to the Philadelphia Eagles 29-18. And there's some good, there's some bad, there's some really bad, there's also some really good. But we're here to cover it in our latest edition of our winners and losers for the Commanders. And so let's get right into it. So Mike Sainristil overall had himself a pretty good game. Yes, I know I got beat on that Devontae Smith touchdown, but honestly, I don't really necessarily fault him. That's a tough get, especially when you get into the goal line and you start running those pick routes and in that one-on-one situations, it's really difficult. So I don't necessarily, put that on him. Overall, I thought he played pretty well in coverage tonight, and I think he deserves a lot of credit, granted, for what he really had to deal with. Also, caused that fumble there to start out the game, and that was the Eagles' nightmare to start things out. Ja'Cory Krosky Merritt looked really good, 15 for 63 and a tutty. Also, I really felt like he set the tone, and it was kind of one of those things where the Commanders have a lot of good weapons, and JCM's going to be, or they called him Bill. That's freaking hilarious. I was dying laughing when I heard that. So JCM looking like the real deal, and just continues to have strong showings. Also, you had Terry McLaurin, who, I would argue that this was the game that we wanted to see more of, and we got some glimpses of it. 3 for 53, as well as Debo looked good, 3 for 35. Treylon Burks actually showed some life. I didn't even know Burks was on the Commanders. Awesome. Bobby Wagner was everywhere tonight. Overall finished with a total of 10 tackles and that sack. I hate to say it, but he kind of deserves better. I'm not trying to be a tool, but at the same time, this man is just an absolute legend, and I just feel bad for the guy. Jacob Martin had himself a sack as well as an interception, looked pretty good in coverage as well. But other than that, it was kind of tough, just overall the top of things. And, I didn't think Marcus Mariota was bad by any means, but, it just wasn't good all night. They could barely, the passing game struggled. Let's just be honest about it. Also, losers, penalties in the red zone, specifically on defense, where you had the Eagles stopped. There was no need for, that Wilson, when he had him around the hip there, there was no need for that. You had him beat. You didn't need to do it, and it's just, I know it's a learning thing for him, but at the same time, it's that was absolutely not needed. So penalties were big. The run defense, Saquon is Saquon. He's going to run for over 100 yards, which it is what it is, but it was rough. Over 200 yards rushing for the Eagles and everything, which is completely understandable, but again, we got to call a spade here. You had 5 penalties for 44 yards. You had for the most part, you were all right, but the Eagles just won the time of possession. You couldn't get off the football field. The Eagles were 4 of 9 on third down. You were 2 of 10. So overall, you want to see a lot more from the Commanders, especially as the season goes on here. But you also realize that they're not tanking because they've got their quarterback of the future. We've just had a lot of injuries. Excuse me. And I think that you have to finish the season strong, and you have to find a way to get it done as we get going here. But overall, not a horrible game. We knew what it was. The Eagles needed a game to get in the playoffs, and they did just that. But overall, let us know what you guys think about our latest edition of Winners and Losers. Make sure you guys like, comment, and subscribe down below, and we'll see you in the next video.